Welcome students. Today we are going to understand literary devices. You might have heard about literary devices from your teachers, and this question might have come in your mind. What are these? Whether they are actually figures of speech or they are poetic devices. So today let us make our understanding very clear regarding the literary devices. What are these? What is their use in the literary texts? And why we should have a clear understanding about them? How we will get the benefits after knowing about it. So let us understand what are the literary devices. As you know, literary devices, as the term itself says, it is related to some text of literature, be it play, be it poetry, be it story, be it novel, or be it any other form of literary text. These are used to create an impact on the readers, to make the writing more effective, more impactful, more forceful. So let us understand what is the formal definition and how we should define these. So literary devices are the literary techniques. Literary devices are the literary techniques which are used by the writer to make an impact in his reading, make an impact through his reading on the readers. So literary devices are literary techniques which involve all the literary elements. As I have told you, the basic purpose of using the literary devices is to make the writing impactful, forceful, effective, impressive. The basic purpose of using these devices, is to make the writing of the text. Text means literary text. Number one, more effective, more impressive, more forceful. More attractive. You can use any of the adjective that we have used here. So let us proceed further in the text. These are the devices which the writer uses to make the writing more impressive, more effective. Okay, so that it impacts on the mind of the reader, and the writer and the reader gets a curiosity to read more. It understands it makes him understand also. If he is aware about the literary devices, then the reader will understand. If the writer knows the literary devices, he will write in a good way. And if the reader knows about literary devices, he will understand in a good way. So knowing about the literary devices is important for the writer as well as the reader. Now let us proceed further and understand what are the purposes. The basic purpose is this much, that the writer wants to make the writing effective and impressive. He wants to impress the reader. But what are the connected purposes? What are the essential things which he keeps in mind while using them? What basically he does? What basically he or she does when he or she uses literary devices? Purposes of using literary devices. What are the purposes of using literary devices? Number one, to strengthen the narrative. To strengthen the narrative. If literary devices are used in a novel, then the narrative would become more forceful, the narrative would become more effective, more impressive, and it will create interest also in the readers. So it strengthens the narrative. He is able to describe the things in a better way, in an effective way, to strengthen the narrative, to help the readers, to connect with the, to help the readers to connect with the main characters and theme. Sometimes there is one theme, sometimes there are many themes in a novel, in a story, in a poem, okay, or in a play. So theme or themes, to help the readers to connect with the main characters or the theme or themes of the text. To make the reading fun-filled. If the if the writer is using the literary devices in his text, you will enjoy the reading of such a text where such devices are used, such literary devices are used, because it raises the text to a certain standard and you will feel happy to read such a text, and such texts become classics. To make the reading fun-filled. And what is the overall impact if you are enjoying the reading? If it arouses your interest, then you will read more. So it is a two-way process. These things will create more interest, and more interest will guide the reader to read more. So to arouse the curiosity, of the reader. To arouse the curiosity, or we can say, or interest of the reader. So I hope you have understood what are literary devices, why they are used by the writers, and what are the basic purposes. There is one basic purpose why the writer uses it, because it gives a tool in the hand of the writer to make the writing more effective and impressive in a very easy way. Okay, whatever can be said through a literary device, that cannot be said in any other way. That is the main thing. But the related purposes or the benefits that he is going to achieve, number one, to strengthen the narrative, means he is able to narrate in a good way. His narration becomes standard. Number two, to help the readers to connect with the main character and theme. There are so many characters in a novel, there are so many characters in a play, and sometimes themes are also many. Okay, there is not a single theme, sometimes there are 2-3 themes. Okay, so how the reader connect with these things, the literary devices will help. Next thing, to make the reading fun filled, when one is understanding the literary devices, it creates fun in the mind of the reader. He becomes more interested to arouse the curiosity, and when the reader is happy, he gets interest, he gets curiosity, he becomes curious to read more. So now let's proceed further and understand some of the examples of literary devices. You know that there are hundreds of literary devices. And if you want to understand the literary text, I am talking about poetry, play, novels, art stories, okay, and other forms of literary text also, then you must know at least 40 to 50 literary devices. If you are well aware about literary devices, some important literary devices, then you will be able to understand any classic literary text there, and you will enjoy it, no doubt. So let us understand what are the main literary devices. We will just understand some of the examples here. As I told you, there are hundreds of literary devices. There are hundreds of literary devices, and we must know at least 40 to 50. And we must know at least 40 to 50 of them. Why? For better understanding of the literary text. Some of the examples of literary devices: allegory, alliteration, anachronism, anthropomorphism, archetype, Anaphora, Epistrophe, Assonance. These are a few examples of literary devices. So I hope you have understood what are literary devices. In the next class, we will understand about the poetic devices. So before we end the class, I want to remind you, if you are a regular student, if you are a regular subscriber, then you just recommend this channel to your friends and well-wishers. But if you are new, then you subscribe the channel and recommend the channel to your friends also. Okay, so I hope you have got clarity about literary devices. Okay, so thank you.